Well, hello there. Now, have you ever, I'm curious, been called dramatic? Well, you're not dramatic. Maybe you are, but most likely you're just dysregulated because constant threat mode wrecks your nervous system and it causes all sorts of upsets in our life. So, today we are unpacking how living in this constant threat mode, I call it, really wrecks your nervous system. It's causing all this chronic tension and stress. We're going to talk about what's really at the root of this hyper vigilant state that we stay in. And most importantly, we're going to want to talk about how to dissolve it so you can start to rewire your system for resilience and not burnout. So that may be something you've been experiencing. Stick around with me until the end because I'm going to do one of my many guided meditations that I love to provide you because these are really amazing moments for you to go inside, get quiet, and allow the insights and revelations to bubble up. That's something that in our society we don't take enough time to do. So I'm allowing you that moment now to let me guide you so that you can just sit back, relax. Don't take, you can take all the pressure off and just listen. That's all you have to do. Get quiet, listen, and just see what comes up. Get curious about it. So stay till the end because I'd love, this is one of my favorite meditations to take you through. I'd love for you to experience that. It's going to help you start to unravel some of that resistance and start to feel safe again. And we're going to talk about later why that is so important. All right, so I'm Jennifer Sack. If you're not sure who I am, I'm an online women's wellness mentor, and I love helping especially wellness pros get back of being in balance, present, and basically in charge of their well-being. Get back to that practice that they once had that first led them to that transformation they had, that then led them to wanting to help other people have the same thing, but somewhere along the line, they got caught up in the world of work, the world of just life, and got stressed out. So here they are, kind of out there, not practicing what they're preaching. So I'm here to help support those wellness leaders walk the walk, lead like a boss, preaching and practicing at the same time, and also stop feeling like an imposter for being out there teaching wellness, but secretly being a bit of a hot stress mess behind the curtains. Okay, so that's what I do. That's why I'm here. Now, I've taught yoga and meditation for over a decade. And with that, there's this misconception that I would be all well, that I'd be floating on cloud nine, perfectly peaceful. And that's not the truth at all. And that's not the truth for many of the wellness leaders out there. And there's no shame in that. That is because we are humans. So we're going to give ourselves grace, as I always say. But I want you to know I'm in it right there with you. I'm going through these battles right there with you. The obstacles that come in, the mind trips that mess you up, the chronic tension, I'm dealing and I'm working through it and I'm here to support you do the same. I have had to unlearn chronic tension. I've had to unlearn a ton of fear-based patterns, still working on a lot of it. It's a continual journey. It's an ongoing journey. I like to tell everybody there is no magic pill. There is no one and done. It is a continual experience and a continual embodiment of the choice to be better, to help yourself. So I'm here to help you along the way as well. Now, through mentorship, through deep self-inquiry, through trying a lot of methods. Oh my God, I've tried so many methods. I've finally started to rewire the nervous system, and I just love to be here to support you along in that journey. Why? Because our nervous system and how we feel our energy, it affects everything. Everything. It affects how you lead others. It affects how you relate to others and the world and your environment. It affects how you treat yourself, the choices you make, the trust in yourself, and it affects your ability to truly rest. Okay, so very big deal to work on this all the time. If all you're doing is making sure that you're in a great energetic state, your life has purpose, and it's an incredible dharma to have. So, all right, if you're watching this live in my Facebook Stress Loop Rewire group, thank you so much for being a part of it. We are here to support each other, to support our inner alignment, to really lean on each other and be there for great resources, inspiration, tools, all of the above. If you know somebody that could benefit from being in there with us, invite them, please. If you're out there watching this on YouTube or somewhere else, get in the group. Find me on Facebook, Jennifer Sack. Click the banner. You'll find a link. You can get yourself into the group. It's much more fun than just watching these out here. Okay. So while you're here, I want to make sure that you check out in the comments. There's a link to grab my one of my really great resources. It's a new one that just dropped. It's a nervous system reset, 30 minutes guided yoga nidra practice, because your body doesn't just need more sleep, it needs deep rest. And that's exactly what I'm delivering in that. But if you head out to my website at jennifersack.com, you're also going to find some other great mindset tools, some other guided meditations. And I just dropped my 7-day energy reset. Amazing. This is where you get to reconnect with calm, reconnect with practicing this every day so that you can get back into embodying it. That's where you came from at some point when you decided you wanted to help others transform. Get back to it, okay? That way you can create the impact that you know you're meant to do. Okay, so tell me if this is you. Getting back on topic with today's whole situation with the nervous system and how the constant threat mode wrecks it. Tell me that if this is you. You spend the day mentally scanning, like for threats all the time, like in your environment, either in the mind or your actual environment. Just searching for the things that could go wrong, potentially. Maybe based on some past experiences, maybe your just imagination's running wild. You're solving problems all day that don't even exist yet. You validate your choices and what you're doing all day in this defense mode to imaginary critics in your mind. You play out worst case scenarios all day long, plan A, plan B, plan C, in the name of just, being prepared. You're just like, I'm just being prepared. We give ourselves a pat on the back, like we hold this like a badge of honor. What about, are you constantly scanning your environment, even like looking for the nearest exit, judging the people around you? Maybe you're on edge, just waiting for something to go wrong. Like you just know it, like any moment, something's going to happen. And you have this fear that if you relax, if you allow yourself to sigh and let go, that's the moment when the other shoe's going to drop, or you're going to get blindsided by something. So you don't allow yourself to do that. You're hyper vigilant. You're on guard. Tell me if that is you, because if it is, I get it. I see you. It's exhausting, isn't it? It's so exhausting. You're on edge. You're just constantly in a hyper mode, right? That is chronic stress. That is wrecking your nervous system, and it's filtering out into all facets of your life, affecting them in not a good way. So if you want to experience some deep rest now, grab that nervous system reset audio in the links, please. It's going to help you start to downshift, to start to feel safe in this moment, in this body, and let go. We get really clenched and our body finds that as its new norm. So we have to practice letting go and allowing relaxation to become a norm. That resource is going to help you do that. Do it again and again and again and again. All right, beyond that, let's talk about what happens when you're constantly on guard. So you've heard probably about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So when you are operating in a state of chronic stress, you're in what is called sympathetic dominance. So it's also often referred to as the fight, flight, or freeze, right, mode. You get stuck in that. And really, honestly, it's a brilliant system set up for us for the right reasons. But what happens is we end up using it for all the wrong reasons. So the right reasons are to deal with a threat. So someone is, pulling into the lane ahead of you. You need to react. You need that heightened stress to do something about it. There is some actual fear of danger happening in your environment. You need to be able to deal with that and be super hyper focused and aware. And that's what it's doing. It's shrinking your awareness right to this moment and causing a very alert state just so that you can deal with this. And obviously it goes back to our ancestors when they were out roaming around, getting attacked by things. It is a brilliant system. So we can't fault the system for being there. We need it. But the problem is When it's always running, it's extremely destructive. We get stuck in this state, and it has to do with kind of our environment these days and how everything is always pinging at us. All right. There's always this feeling of threat, 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 threat. And you have to, even if it's just a notification, an email that came in, a voicemail, we perceive things as threats instead of just going about our day. The problem is your brain cannot tell the difference between a real threat, the car coming into your lane, or, just a subtle stressor. Something that might even be not a stressor, but you kind of internalize it that way because you're already in this like on point guard sort of mode. So even things like people pleasing or perfectionism or notifications on your phone, that's a big one. Planning every possible scenario. These are the subtle stressors working in the background that keep that nervous system in that chronic state of tension. So when you are hypervigilant, watching for signs of failure, for bracing for disappointment, just sure something's going to go wrong, trying to manage even how you're perceived, that even right there creates a heightened awareness, a chronic state of tension. You're sending your body the same emergency signals over and over and over again. So we cannot fault our body for being in this mode. We've been conditioning it to this way, and it has taken a toll on your health. Tell me how many of you experience headaches, muscle tension, sleeplessness, your gut, your digestion is off, your skin is freaking out. Okay. All of these are manifestations of this chronic state of heightened tension, of hypervigilance. Your mood, God, your immunity, like we could go on about all the ways this really manifests itself. So it's got to be nipped in the bud, okay? It's exhausting your adrenals. It's causing burnout, anxiety, chronic tension, emotional reactivity. I feel like just in naming all these things, I'm getting stressed. Can you feel it? Just thinking about all of the ways this affects us. So take a deep breath with me. If you're feeling that too, let's let it go. Let's come right back to this moment. Now that brings me to the next point here, that sometimes we have a hard time coming back to this moment and letting these things go and being still. Why? It doesn't feel safe. I've had so many people say that, like, I want to be relaxed, I want to be still, but it doesn't feel safe. Like, it makes them want to cry. It makes them want to get up and do something. It makes them want to run away. They start going rampant in their mind. It's because we have not been in that space for so long. It's not normal. It's not normal anymore. We're afraid of the shoe dropping. And so we stay in that state as like a form of self-protection. So the fact of the matter is we have got to get back into creating a safe, relaxed environment within ourselves, not only in our actual environment, but first and foremost within yourself, over and over again, so that it starts to become natural and normal again. It took a long time to get to this point of chronic tension. So you always have to remember there's no magic pill, there's no one and done. Yes, you can do these things for instant relief. The resources I offer you, lots of things out there. That's great. You need to do that because it's going to start flexing the muscle for what it feels like to relax. But the clincher is you have to keep doing it over and over again because you're going to have to rewire. You're going to have to recondition your system until little by little it becomes much more natural for you to be in that relaxed state. So you don't feel unsafe when you're there. So you can retrain your nervous system. That is the good news. You can. It takes a choice and it takes effort. But oh my gosh, going back to everything we talked about that it's affecting you negatively, why would you want to stay in that space? Wouldn't it be better to choose to take the effort to retrain your body? Now, my 7-day energy reset that just dropped is an amazing tool to get you back on track. So you know the tools. You've been in the wellness field, you know the tools, but you maybe have gotten off track with keeping it a part of your daily protocol, keeping it a part of what you do all throughout the day. I'm not talking about adding more to your plate. I'm talking about embodying this and making it a way of being. If you want some accountability and some support to get back on track, get my 7-day energy reset. Just look in the description, head to my website, whatever, look it up. It's going to really help you because I'm going to be there in your inbox every day with a new resource, a video. It's accountability for you to show up, it's support for you. And at the end of the 7 days, you're going to be back on that feeling of making grounding, making calm, making presence natural again. Okay. You got to keep going after that. No one and done. No 7 days isn't going to do it for you. It's going to just get you back in the motion, grease those wheels, get the momentum going. Okay. So let's talk about what is at the root of all this chronic threat. It's always like, why do we feel that? Why do we feel like we are always under threat? Okay, we could go deep dive psychology wise if we wanted to. I mean, I really do love to get down into all of that. And then one of the biggest thing is everything that you've ever experienced in your life is in your energy field. It's floating around. A lot of it was insignificant, so you don't think about it, but it's there. It's data in the ether around you, right? And then there was the high charge moments in your life, and they stuck some energy. And I talked about that in last week's episode, so I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But there are things that have happened to us that triggered or activated something, because we're not using triggered anymore. It activated something. So things get stuck. But if we really just peel off all the layers and get out of the psychology woods and going down the rabbit hole of, well, this happened when I was 5 and then that happened when I was 10, let all that go. Let's talk base of the matter. What's really going on there? It's fear. Plain and simple. We're afraid. We are stinking afraid all the time. Why? Why are we afraid? Well, there's 3, I'd say, core fears that we have. These are fears that are often masked as just being responsible. Sometimes we actually kind of put like a pretty bow on these fears and wrap them up in, in a nice like Tiffany box and put a bow on and say, well, it's okay because I'm just being responsible. I'm staying on top of things. I like to be prepared. I'm just trying to do the right thing. No, you're afraid. Admit it. Just admit it already. And here's the 3 core main fears that are contributing to this state. First one is the fear of something happening that we don't want to happen. Okay. So, failure, rejection, being judged, which leads to shame and guilt. And you don't want loss, obviously. We don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to be misunderstood. We hate being misunderstood. We just want to be understood. So we're afraid all these things are going to happen that we don't want. So it creates this huge resistance. And then we try and control our environment to make none of that happen. God forbid. The second fear is fear of losing something that we do want. Okay, so like love or stability or connection or health, something even manifest in the abundant, like, your car you just bought, your ring you just bought. And there's things out there that we're like, oh, I don't want my house to go away. You don't want to lose control. You want control. You don't want to lose it. Funny thing is, you never had it. But we convince ourselves that we do, and we're afraid to lose it. The third and most probably prominent fear, I would say, core common fear that is underlying all this hypervigilance and this constant state of threat that we feel we're under is the fear of the unknown. Like I said, we don't like to be out of control. It's this hazy space, the unknown, if you will, is this hazy space where there's no guarantee of what the outcome is going to be, what's going to happen. We're left fully uncertain, and we start to realize that we don't have control. So then we actually get driven into trying to control, and we overfunction, we overthink, we overplan, we're staying on alert, we're scanning for those threats, reading between the lines of well, what did they really say or what did they really mean when they said that, or what does that look mean? We're trying to fix things before they even need fixing. Maybe they don't even need fixing. We're protecting, we're perfecting. We think we're perfecting things as if they weren't already perfect. So we do all of these things because we're totally afraid of what would happen if we just let go. The unknown freaks us out. We love consistency. We love routine. We love when we can predict the next thing. And that is something that's kind of within us because it makes us feel stable, but it just highlights the fact that we are terrified of the unknown. However, I will say if you dive into the area of the unknown, you will feel so alive because you have to be so present. And there is a beautiful gift out there waiting for you. So, we believe if we just stay vigilant enough, we can prevent pain. But here's the catch: this protective state really gets us locked in this survival mode. It prevents us from ever feeling safe. It prevents us from being present because we're always out there trying to mitigate anything that could happen. And like I said, you don't feel as alive because you're so dispersed, so scattered, so distracted that you're not right here. And especially if you're in like a super routine mode and nothing's ever different because you're terrified of something not being a part of your routine that's always your routine, you're not alive. You're on autopilot. What kind of life is that? Shake it up a little bit. Allow a little of the unknown in your life, a little uncertainty. Okay, so when we start to untangle this fear, all of those fears, the fear of something we don't want happening, the fear of losing something we do want, the fear of the unknown. If we can meet that fear with compassion, I'm not saying override it. Don't be like toxically fake positive. Like that's not doing you any good. It's not working. Has it worked for you yet? No, it's not. So we don't override the fear with fake positivity. We meet it with compassion. We're like, oh, there's fear again. I see that. Thank you. Hello. We can start to kind of work with it. We can start to recognize it, to move it through, to move beyond it, to do things despite fear, like resting. You can start to build a deeper sense of inner safety that is not based on this elusive and unattainable idea of control. That's where real resilience begins. It's reclaiming that space between stimulus and response with presence and grounding and trust in ourselves. We have lost that trust in ourselves. Do you notice that? Do you notice in the wake of the the amount of information that we can access at our fingertips? I love it. I'm sure you love it. I love the fact that I can look anything up when I'm unsure. It's amazing. But what has happened there? Have we given up all of our ability to think for ourselves, to rely on ourselves or to trust ourselves? That's like a little segue, but we need to get back into trusting ourselves and not relying on every other outside source to do it for us. Okay. And that's what's happening a lot of the times. We need to come back to ourselves. And that's exactly why I love the guided meditations that I provide and that I take you through, because it is stepping back into your power, back into that place where you have inner trust and inner knowing instead of looking outside for all of the answers. I'm not telling you to stop Googling and looking on YouTube because I know I'm not going to stop. But if it is not your primary source and you know when you can feel something from deep inside, you are empowering yourself. So we want to rewire your body to feel safe without control. Like, can you do that? Do you think that you could give up control and still feel safe? That seems scary to even say, right? But we're going to work on that. We're going to work towards that. So there are three kind of portals, if you will, or sometimes I call them entry points to working with anything that comes up in your life. But we'll use it since we're talking today about fear and hypervigilance and threat everywhere. We're going to use it around fear. Three portals or entry points to work with it. And the first one is your mind. Your mind, okay? You are safe right now. Right now. You're safe. If you're not, I highly doubt you're paying attention to this video because you're going to be really focused on that major threat. So if you can start to realize that you have always handled everything that life has thrown at you, you can start to dissolve some of this threat in your mind. Things are neutral. That is a crazy thing for many people to accept, but everything's just an event. It's just an experience. It is your thoughts, your stories, your narratives. It's all of that that creates the drama. It is not a problem unless you make it a problem. Yes, I know what you're going to say. Well, bad things do happen. People die, people get sick. Yes, bad things happen. They're an event. How you react to it is totally up to you. The perspective that you want to have around it's totally up to you. And it doesn't mean that when something bad happens, we're not like, wow, this hurts, this is painful. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that across the board, your day to day life experience is just a bunch of neutral events. But it's all the things that you place on it, your opinions, your conditioning, your narratives again, that make it not neutral. It's the it should be this way because I like it that way and I have a preference. Or it could happen. Oh my God, what if? It's all these things that are causing the disrupt. So you need to know that you can handle whatever is presented to you. You always have. When something bad even happened to you, you didn't just disappear off the face of the planet. What did you do? You dealt with it. Maybe sometimes you didn't deal with it so hot, and other times you did, whatever, but you dealt with it and then you moved on, and something else happened, and then there was another event. So just know you're safe because you're still here. You're going to be still here. You can deal with it to the best of your ability at the time, and then another event's going to come your way. Boom. Stop with all the craziness in your head around these things. Here's a thing you can remind yourself this moment's not a problem to solve. It's just an experience to experience. It's just an event. It's not a problem. So maybe if you can remind yourself, and maybe even a little mantra, this is not a problem. This is just an experience. This is just an event. You spill some milk. All right. Yeah. Crap. I'm going to clean it up now. It's not a big problem. It's just an event and you're going to deal with it. And then there's going to be another event that comes right after that. All right. Get out of the drama cycle. Why? Because the stress body, the loop between the two, the mind and the body, that stress loop is going to play into each other. You get stressed up here, body tenses, tense body relates to the mind that we're under threat. Now more narrative happens, and bam, we're going like this. So, second entry point, if you don't want to start with the mind, let's tell your body that you're safe. Ooh, relax here. And it's going to communicate to your mind, maybe help loosen the grip up there. So, second entry point, relax, 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 and relax some more. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, quit furrowing your brows. Relax your hands, soften your belly. Take a deep breath. Relax. If you can start to work with your body, if the mind, you're like, the mind is crazy, I can't even begin to start there. Fine, start with your body. Relax. And do it so much and so often that it's not a foreign concept anymore. That you start to condition yourself to relax so that you notice when you start to tense up again. Most of us are so tense 100% of the time that we don't even realize it. But if you start to make relaxation more of your norm, you're going to notice that you're starting to tense up and then you can keep relaxing it. Some different ways you can arrive in your body and just really start creating this grounding relaxation effect are body scans. So, scanning yourself from head to toe, like a little secret scouter, searching for any type of place that's gripping, that's anticipating, that's tensing. Relax it. Some people apply like a color that they feel is soothing. Imagine as that color goes over the place of tension that it's melting that tension away. Some people love to use the breath. I like to use the breath where you breathe into that space and then as you exhale, just imagine it dissipating into the environment around you. You can just scan like the blinds closing, like as the blinds close, this is getting darker and darker and it is relaxing as we go down. And this can be a super fast and simple way to just rid yourself of the energy. You can imagine that the earth is like a magnet, just drawing down all the energy and the gunk and the heavy stuck stuff out your feet down into the earth, and you just let it go for its highest and greatest good. And you can be rid of it. All right. So the body scan is an amazing technique. really works, super effective, can be done anywhere, anytime. Another way is breath, 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 breath. I'll say it all day long. If you ever did one tool for the rest of your life that you wanted to be the most paramount, the most effective, have the greatest impact, it would be to work with your breath. Just pay attention to it. If you're like, I don't want to count my breath all day, fine. Just watch it. All right. If you could just watch your breath, and you can watch your breath while you're doing things, it's not like you can never work again or have a conversation. Watch your breath and watch what happens. It will all slow down. You will slow down. You will become present. All right. But if you want to have a little fun with it, count your breaths, count your inhale, count your exhale, count the length of time between the two. Play with it. Get curious. Soothing touch is also a really great way to use the body as an entry point to ground and balance yourself. So it could just be a hand on the heart, hand on the belly. It could be rubbing your arms up and down. It's very soothing. Sometimes you just can rub your fingers like so, and it just brings you right to this point. That's why some people will use like mala beads between their fingers. Like, you ever seen Ram Dass just like moving those beads? It's just like a sensory thing. Keeping them present right there. May you rest in peace. All right. So, what about grounding through your senses? What do I see right now? What colors and textures are out there in my environment? What do I hear? What do I taste? How are the clothes feeling on my body? Is there any air movement? What's the temperature of the air? Like, just getting curious and tuning into all of those things, your senses, noticing the floor under your feet. This is really going to help you out. I like to find places of neutrality too, like my toes, my nose, tip of my nose, my earlobes. These are places that don't have like a ton of sense. So if you try and tune into them, you're going to get quiet and you're going to get subtle and you're going to start to slow down, get present in your body. And then you'll realize you're safe right here, right now. Everything's okay. I can handle what comes to me. All right. Third entry point to overcoming fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the things we don't want to happen, and fear of losing the things that we want to keep. Well, it's kind of a combination of two things, actually. It's surrender and trust. It's like a PB&J of the two, surrender and trust. What if there's nothing to defend against in this moment? Like, what if? What if there's nothing that you really need to do right now? There's no threat. Okay, that's surrender. It's letting go of trying to predict everything. It's knowing that you can handle anything when it arises. That's trust in yourself, that self-trust that I've got it when it happens, if it happens, whatever it is. I can handle that. I got it. Surrender does not mean giving up, all right? It means releasing the need to be on guard, okay? So it's saying if something happens, I'll meet it when it arrives, not 100 times before in my mind, okay? And here's a reframe that helped me the most really is like, what if this moment is actually happening for you to support your growth? What if there is such a divine essence to everything and an orchestration of the universe that everything that happens, even the things that you may perceive as negative or a problem, what if it's truly there for your growth? Like, it's supposed to be there so that you can work on letting it pass through, letting it be neutral, moving through it, releasing stuck energy for growth, handling things even better each time, building that self-trust even more because you know you have got this resilience in this way to handle everything that comes up. What if it's just perfectly timed? You don't have to brace. Okay, you can just breathe. If you really dive into surrender and trust, it's a huge support system for you. Some people use faith, their religion, whatnot. If that's you, hold on fast to that if that works for you. Now, if you want to practice again, making this a part of your daily routine, the grounding practices, self-trust, accountability on yourself, trusting that yourself, you can stay with these practices. That's where you want to get into my 7-day energy reset. So look up that resource and get into it. It's going to help you get back on track with that. So we talked about a guided meditation, and I would love to provide that to you now. This is a great one. One of my favorites, like I said before. It's really going to help you start to release some of that resistance around everything. Start to understand what it's like to just rest in a little bit of that surrender and trust so that ultimately you can begin to feel safe there again. That's the whole goal of it. We want you to start experiencing this over and over again so that it becomes more natural for you. So, just to set you up for success with this meditation, if you're not in a space where you can truly relax and close your eyes, I would suggest you come back to this later in the replay, mark maybe the time at where we're at, and just come back when you can truly give it your all. I understand listening to it while you do things. I do that all the time. I love listening to things while I'm doing things. But to get the most out of this, I really encourage you to carve out a moment where you're quiet and uninterrupted, cozy as hell, so that you can really, really benefit from this. With that being said, I want you to get comfortable now so we can really sink into this. I want you to close your eyes if you're totally uncomfortable closing your eyes because that is so unsafe for you. Just lower your gaze so that your eyelids are partially closed, and that helps them relax. Relax all the muscles around your eyes. You're going to settle into this moment as you just breathe in and out through the nose if you can. I know it's allergy season, so do what you can. Slowing the breath down. And as the eyes continue to soften, melt that down your face so that your cheekbones soften, so that your jaw relaxes and releases, separating the teeth, allowing the tongue to rest on the bottom palate. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just drop your shoulders. Release and relax down through your arms and hands. And just know that your thoughts will come and go, and that's okay. Just let the thoughts pass by. And come back to your breath, silently repeating in on the in-breath and out on the out-breath. Inhaling in and exhaling out. And just allow that rhythm of the breath to help you release any tension, any gripping, any anticipation. Maybe you're doing that body scan like we spoke about, inhaling on the word in, exhaling any tension as you silently repeat out. And then bring your awareness to your bottommost ribs, focusing on physical sensation. Noticing that as you inhale, the ribs, all four sides, flare out. And as you exhale, they contract in. Just notice that for the next couple of breaths. And then bring your awareness back to repeating in on the in-breath and out on the out-breath. Soften your belly. Let the thoughts just come and go. Sounds in my environment and in yours just come and go. Totally neutral. And now bring your awareness up into the seat of your heart space. Slowing down your breath. feeling at ease. And notice if you need to shift or move to get more comfortable. Notice if something tensed back up out of habit, out of anticipation. Relax. And keep that attention right there at the seat of your heart. And I want you to begin to focus on these two words: letting go. I want you to breathe in the word letting and breathe out the word go. Breathing in letting and breathing out go. Letting your hands release. Let go. Imagine what it's like to just let go. Certain topics, attachments, even certain situations, just breathing in, letting, and breathing out, go. What else is there that you can let go of? Notice it. It's coming up. Let it come up. Breathe in, letting, and breathe out, go. Let it go. And then notice, do you need to shift or move any of that energy? What does the body need right now to feel safe letting go? Check back in with your eyes relaxing, your jaw softening, your shoulders dropping, belly soft. Now I want you to change it up, and I want you to breathe in letting and breathing out in. Breathe in letting, breathe out the word in. You've made way by letting go. You've made space. You've cleared something out. So now is the time to let in. Breathe in, letting, and breathe out, in. And as you soften your shoulders a bit more, you allow your body to open up a bit more because it's safe here. What would you love to let in? Breathe in, letting, and breathe out, in. Notice what's there. hands are soft. We're relaxed. Noticing what wants to come in. Give yourself a few longer, deeper, slower breaths. Checking in again with the edges of your eyes, with your jaw, with your arms. Just allow the breath to be slow and rhythmic. Now I want you to let yourself just be. I want you to really take in the meaning of that word. I want you to let yourself be. I don't want you to think about letting go of anything. I don't want you to think about letting anything in. I want you to just let yourself be. And if anything feels pent up right now, just shift or move your body in any way that feels like it's needed to release that energy or simply to get more comfortable. And now breathe in the word letting and breathe out the word be. And just let those words and the meaning of them create a rhythmic ripple throughout your entire body. Just being. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. No reaching or striving for anything. Just breathe in letting and breathe out be. I want you to find the deepest meaning of that for you right now. Letting yourself be just as it is in this moment. Not having to change. Not having to do anything. Not having to prepare or anticipate. Nothing to fight off. Just breathe in letting and breathe out be. I really want you to connect to this moment of what it's like to just let yourself be, to feel safe, supported. Drop your shoulders again. Relax your hands and your belly. And I want you to ask yourself, which one calls to you more today? Is it letting in? Is it letting go? Or is it just letting be? Which one pulls you? Which one fits today? Letting go letting in and letting be. So now as you take a deep breath in through the nose, I want you to hold it at the top and then let it cascade out, releasing any last bit of tension. Begin focusing on your inhalations now, helping you to come back up to that level of alert, whatever is going to support you in the next activity you're about to go to. But before you go there in your mind, bring your attention back to the seat of your heart space. And just listen. Listen for any last bits of guidance, direction, wisdom, intuition. And just take with you what is most important and meaningful. You don't have to remember it all. And give yourself 3 longer, slower, deeper breaths in and out. Maybe using that one that was calling most to you as you breathe, repeating those words to yourself. Just remembering what you want to take with you. Bringing your awareness back into your body, wiggling your toes, your fingers, rotating the ankles and wrists. Maybe even taking that like big good morning stretch of the arms overhead. Traveling back up. Perhaps the eyes are still closed. And bring the awareness just behind the eyelids. Gentle smile across the lips. Remember what this feels like. To relax, to be safe. Gently open your eyes if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining me for that meditation. I do encourage you, as I always do, pick up a journal or even just voice note into your phone anything that came up for you, because you will soon forget as you march back into your day-to-day life full of distractions. But these things that come up for us in these meditations are from the heart. They're from your higher self. They're very important to remember. And although each and every time, even if you were to do that meditation on replay every day, something different will come up for you every time. It's still so amazing to look back and keep those ideas and revelations at the forefront of your mind as a bit of a North Star. Remember, everything is not a problem. There really are no problems unless you make it a problem. It's time to get out of that constant threat mode. It's really time to release fear. And that means entering your body, working with your mind, surrendering, trusting. You've got this. You can handle whatever life throws at you, good or bad, meaning how intense it feels on the scale of emotions. You can handle it. And if you want support, I've got you. I've got tons of free resources, jennifersack.com, or check out one right there in the comments. And I do encourage you, hop on board with that 7-day energy reset so you can start to make this a part of your daily practice again. Get back to that passion of the transformation that you found that made you want to go out there and help others. Because when you do that, your impact is going to 10x with all the people you work with yourselves. And that's what you really want, right? Yeah. Those that want to help others so badly. So help yourself first. Thank you so much for showing up here keep being awesome out there. And until next time, my friends, I'll see ya.